In the headlines, CBN Governor Emefiele joins presidential race as Minister of Science and Technology declares ambition. Gunmen set vehicle ablaze in Ebonyi day after Buhari's arrival. UK designates IPOB a terrorist group. And on the foreign scene, White House names first black press secretary. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I'm Ibrahim Yusuf. Now the news in detail. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, has picked the expression of interest and nomination forms to contest the presidential ticket of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Daily Trust gathered that Emefiele picked the 100 million naira forms through the party's organizing secretary at the International Conference Center in Abuja on Friday. This puts to rest the speculation on his interest in succeeding President Muhammadu Buhari. In February 2014, former President Goodluck Jonathan appointed Emefiele hours after he announced the suspension of his predecessor, Sanusi Lamido. In 2019, the former managing director of Zenith Bank made history as the first CBN governor to be reappointed. Meanwhile, Minister of Science and Technology and Innovations, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, has formally declared his interest to contest for the presidency on the platform of the ruling All Progressives Congress come 2023. Onu's declaration swells the number of presidential aspirants, including ministers, Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo, APC national leader Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, and some state governors, among others. While formally declaring on Friday in Abuja, Onu, also former governor of Old Abia State, said Nigeria can no longer look to foreign countries for its salvation. According to him, the fact that Nigeria has the key to unlocking its own prosperity is enough for the citizens and his party to elect him as Nigeria's next chief servant. He recalled his days as governor of Abia State when the state provided free treatment in public hospitals and also tackled insecurity and other sectors. Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has approved the dissolution of the State Executive Council. The secretary to the state government, Usman Shua, announced the dissolution of the governor's cabinet on Thursday, saying it was with immediate effect. The announcement was contained in a statement signed by the Permanent Secretary of the Administration and General Services, Njuma Ali. Governor Zulum, according to the statement, directed all the affected appointees to hand over the leadership to permanent secretaries in their respective ministries. He explained that the dissolution was to create an enabling environment for interested members of the council to legally participate in the forthcoming primaries and congresses of the All Progressives Congress. And the Supreme Court has upheld the Governor Abdullahi Ganduje faction of the All Progressive Congress, APC, in Kano State against the party's faction loyal to former Governor Ibrahim Shekaru. In a unanimous decision of the 5-member panel of justices led by Justice Inyang Okoro, the Apex Court held that the appeal against the earlier judgments of the Court of Appeal in Abuja lacked merit and is dismissed. The court further ruled that the 2 other appeals in the matter will abide by the decision. The Court of Appeal had in February dismissed the 3 appeals, also held that the originating summons were wrongfully commenced in Abuja, adding that the matter was an internal affair of the party. The appeals followed the 2 rulings of an FCT High Court in 2021, which upheld the ward and local government congresses believed to have been won by the faction loyal to Shekaru and Senator Jibril Barrow of Kano North, numbering about 17,908 and 1,319 members, respectively. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has reminded political parties that they have 1 month from Thursday, May 5th, 2022, to conclude their primaries. While reminding political parties the deadline remains Friday, 3rd June 2022, the Commission urged them to ensure a rancor-free and transparent exercise, noting that the deadline is firm and fixed. It maintained that nominations for presidential and National Assembly elections shall be submitted through the INEC web portal from the 10th to 17th June 2022, while governorship and state houses of assembly nominations shall be submitted between the 1st and 15th of July 2022. INEC further reminded parties that they must submit to the Commission the list of candidates who must have emerged from valid primaries. The Commission assured that it will continue to work with political parties to ensure fidelity to the Constitution, the Electoral Act, and the timelines for all elective activities contained in the timetable and schedule of activities for the 2023 general election. Meanwhile, leaders in the southeast have appealed to President Muhammadu Buhari to release the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. They made the plea on Friday at a meeting with the president, who is on a two-day visit to Ebonyi State. The chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria in the southeast, Reverend Father Abraham Mwali, made the plea on behalf of the southeast leaders in his address at the Ebonyi State Stakeholders Forum held at the Government House in Abakaliki, the state capital. But in his remarks, President Buhari did not give a response whether he would consider the requests of the Igbo leaders or not. Kanu was first arrested in 2015 on charges bordering on terrorism, treasonable felony, managing an unlawful society, publication of defamatory matter, illegal possession of firearms, and improper importation of goods, amongst others. And still in the southeast, some traditional rulers and southeast leaders were on Friday shut out of a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari in Ebonyi State. Buhari is on a two-day visit to the state and scheduled to meet with Ohaneze Ndigbo and other stakeholders. The meeting held at the New Exco Chambers, Government House, Abakaliki. However, the monarchs and elders were shut out of the meeting. It was not yet clear what was behind the decision, as at press time. And the United Kingdom government has finally accepted Nigeria's classification of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, as a terrorist organization. Following widespread killings and acts of lawlessness, the Nigerian government designated IPOB a terrorist group in 2017. But some foreign countries, including the UK, which IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu holds his passport, did not acknowledge the declaration at the time. However, 4 days after the outlawed group beheaded an army couple who were on their way to Imo State for their traditional wedding, UK acknowledged IPOB as a terrorist organization, directing that it should be excluded from its asylum program. Meanwhile, gunmen suspected to be enforcing a two-day sit-at-home, allegedly declared by the yet-to-be-identified dissident group in the southeast, attacked Ebebe Junction in Abakaliki metropolis of Ebonyi State. The attackers, who struck around 6:20 a.m. on Friday, set a vehicle ablaze, while a motorcycle operator escaped death by the whiskers. A resident of the area, Anayo Chukwuemeka, and the shop owner, Simon Onwe, who spoke to newsmen, said the attackers fired several gunshots that got residents panicking and scampering for safety. Meanwhile, a combined team of men of the Nigeria Police and the Eastern Security Outfit, Ebonyi Command, have cordoned off the area. Loveth Oda, the police public relations officer, Ebonyi Command, when contacted for reaction, said that she was yet to get a report of the incident. You're watching Trust TV News Update. Still to come after the break. Gombe Emir urges citizens to pray against insecurity in the state. This and more after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now a look at our top stories. CBN Governor Emefiele joins presidential race as Minister of Science, Technology declares ambition. And gunmen set vehicle ablaze in Ebonyi a day after Buhari's arrival. Moving on to other news now, 15 people have been killed after a boat capsized at a river located in Mayadwa local government area of Katsina State. The incident, according to an eyewitness, occurred on Wednesday at about 11 p.m. when the canoe conveying an undisclosed number of passengers capsized and killed 15 people on board. Reports say funeral prayers were conducted for the victims on Thursday at about 7:30 a.m. at Tsabu town in Mayadwa local government area of the state. The State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Yao Umar Wajo, was among the dignitaries that attended the funeral service of the victims. He used the opportunity to commiserate with families of the deceased. Now to labor matters, the Minister of Education, Malang Adamu, has apologized to workers in federal universities for not responding promptly to their demands. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Education, Andrew David Adejo, who represented the minister at a reconciliatory meeting brokered by the Minister of Labor and Employment, Senator Chris Ngigi, on Thursday, told the leadership of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, and Non-Academic Staff Union that the ministry had not abandoned their issues, but that circumstances had made it look as such. The apology came just as the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, on Thursday said a smarter way to preserve the future of Nigeria was for President Muhammadu Buhari-led federal government to provide funding for the education sector and sign a decent agreement with the union. Responding, the president of SANU and the spokesman of the Joint Action Committee of SANU and NASU, Mr. Adeyemi Peters, expressed hope that the minister's apology represents government's commitment to finally addressing their grievances of workers. And the Emir of Gombe, Abubakar Shehu Abubakar III, has urged his subjects to continue to pray against the lingering insecurity in the country. The Emir spoke during a Salah homage to the Gombe State Governor, Inuwa Yahaya. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
The Emir, who is worried over the lingering insecurity prevailing in the country, called for prayers to help the country surmount its security challenges. Whenever I have an opportunity to speak, I always advocate for peace. Peace is above everything. Without it, we can't be here. Gombe is developed because of peace. That is why we always preach peace. You must pray for peace. Speaking to journalists, Governor Inuwa emphasized the need for synergy between government and traditional institutions to achieve peace in the state.
For any meaningful development to take place, there is a need for sanity between not only the state government and the traditional institutions, but indeed between the federal government, the state, the local governments, and the people represented by the traditional institutions. We are working in sanity, and that is why there is relative peace, there is harmony, there is understanding, and there is progress on Gombe State. We thank God for that.
Salah homage to the government house has been part of the activities during every Salah festival in Gombe. The visit featured horse riding, traditional drumming, and trumpeting. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Governor Ifeanyi Okowa of Delta State says the 150 billion naira bridging finance facility is not a fresh loan, but an advance from the 270 billion naira owed the state government by the federal government. The governor stated this at the quarterly media briefing at the Press Center, Government House, Asaba. He said that the 150 billion naira had been tied to projects embarked upon by his administration and his predecessor, explaining that the reason people questioned the approval of the facility by the House of Assembly was due to lack of information. Okowa used the forum to debunk rumors of endorsing any of the aspirants in all elective positions ahead of the 2023 general elections, promising that the primaries of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, will be fair, transparent, and credible.
Pay back the loan. It's money that is owed us already that is going to come on a quarterly basis. And when the money has value, I'd rather spend that money when that money has value. And every single project that is being taken, that is going to be involved in that 150 billion, and not only a single project, we also are addressing the pension issues. The majority of the people are calling my name. Sometimes you find 3 different people running in one place. Everybody says the power has endorsed them. It's part of the politics that people play. But the fact is that I have not endorsed any aspirant, and we will, by the special grace of God, work towards having a free and fair primary. I have not been led to run for the presidency of Nigeria. There were lots of pressures from all parts of the country, but somehow I did not think that I was fully prepared to run that race.
You're still watching Trust TV News Update. The news continues after this. Stay with us. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now, the federal government and telecommunications operators under the auspices of the Association of Licensed Telecommunication Operators of Nigeria, ALTON, are set for a showdown over the latter's proposed 40% hike on calls and data tariffs in the country. ALTON, on a letter which has now been confirmed by the Nigeria Communications Commission, NCC, proposed a 40% hike in all call and SMS tariffs. The operators said their decision was necessary considering the rising cost of business in the country. The letter said the fee for calls will increase from 6 naira 40 kobo to 8 naira 95 kobo per second, which is 53 naira 70 kobo per minute, while the price cap for SMS will increase from 4 naira to 5 naira 61 kobo. Though the letter was silent on data costs, Daily Trust gathered that 1 gigabyte of data will cost between 2,800 naira and 3,200 naira depending on the operator. ALTON said the telecommunications industry had been financially challenged by an economic downturn that occurred during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 and the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. It noted that the war had resulted in a 35% increase in their operating expenses due to an increase in energy costs. And on the foreign scene, President Joe Biden has named Karine Jean-Pierre as his new top spokesperson, the first time a black or openly gay person has held the role. Jean-Pierre has served as the administration's principal deputy press secretary since Biden was elected. She'll replace outgoing press secretary Jane Saki in the top role at the end of next week. She joins the league of other prominent black people holding prominent roles such as Vice President Kamala Harris, incoming Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, Domestic Policy Council Chair Susan Rice, UN Ambassador Linda Thomas Greenfield, and a handful of other officials and judges. The White House press secretary is a presidential administration's face to the national media and by extension to the country and the world. And in sports, Arsenal men's manager Mikel Arteta and women's boss Jonas Eidevall have signed new contracts with the Gunners. Arteta was appointed in December 2019 and his new deal runs until the end of the 2024-25 campaign. Eidevall joined the London club last summer and his contract extension takes him to the end of the 2023-24 season. Arsenal director Josh Kroenke, whose father, Stan, owns the club, said the deals provide stability and clarity for the future. Arteta has guided his side to 4th in the Premier League as they try to secure a Champions League spot. And quickly, before we go, Kofi is bringing attention to the world of e-waste menace by using dead mobile telephone keyboards in his art. Let's take a look.
Il va mettre à la peinture aussi qui est là, avec une machine à colle.
C'est pas aussi compliqué que ça. Bon, je peux dire que depuis le lycée, vu que j'étais dans une école artistique, donc j'étais déjà dedans, mais j'ai commencé à j'ai décidé vraiment de rentrer dans une carrière professionnelle depuis 2018, début 2018. On fait un dessin, on suit ça pour pouvoir s'orienter maintenant. Bon, après il y a les détails aussi, tout ça là. Bon. Le côté artistique, il va rentrer en ligne de compte parce que c'est pas aussi simple que ça, parce qu'on ne colle pas pour coller en fait. Pour qu'à la fin on ait une image ou on ait quelque chose. Donc du coup c'est ça qui rend un peu difficile le travail. Comme c'est... Moi j'ai grandi dans un environnement où il y avait ces déchets là qui étaient assez ouvert. Donc étant petit, je me suis dit pourquoi ne pas faire quelque chose d'assez original en essayant d'apporter quelque chose de nouveau, dans le sens même où il véhiculait un message propre en fait. Et le téléphone, je me suis dit, si je dois véhiculer un message, je dois prendre quelque chose qui appartient à l'homme et l'homme a utilisé en fait, que l'homme a rejeté, qu'on va ramener en fait sur une autre forme. Mais toi alors, un message qui véhicule, voilà, je travaille sur tout ce qui est d'actualité généralement et ce qui touche aussi ma sensibilité. Donc voilà, il y a toujours un message, c'est pas vraiment, le message c'est pas le recyclage en fait, le recyclage c'est juste une cause que je défends en fait, mais ce n'est pas ça le plus important. Le plus important c'est que c'est le message que chaque fois porte en fait. Donc chaque série a un but.
And with that, we wrap up Trust TV News Update for this hour. Don't forget, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for staying with us.